Meanwhile, we are counting you down to tip off of our next game here on ACC Network. We've got Louisville and NC State going head-to-head. You see Jeff Brom, Louisville head football coach, is here, as is Jeff Walls, who we just saw playing in, his girls playing in Greensboro. Both of those coaches here supporting Louisville as they get ready for the game with NC State. Meanwhile, mention counting you down to tip off Louisville and the Wolfpack going head-to-head right here on ACC Network. We'll get you set for the game after this.
While it doesn't have the history or legacy of places like Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina, or Tournament Town in Greensboro, the Washington metro area, known as the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, does have its own unique place in the legend of the ACC tourney. The 1976 tournament in Landover, Maryland, was the first held outside of the state of North Carolina, and the first title for the Virginia Cavaliers. Twice more in the 80s, teams from the Tar Heel state took home a championship from Landover. In 1981, it was the Tar Heels themselves. In 1987, it was the Wolfpack, the last time NC State won the ACC tournament. In 2005, DC hosted its first, won by Duke and tourney MVP J.J. Redick. Then in 2016, UNC took home its last tournament title, led by MVP Joel Berry. Now, 8 years later, the DMV will again crown the best of the ACC.
All right, we welcome you back out to Capital One Arena, where you see NC State and Louisville both warming up, getting ready for this matchup coming your way in just about 16 minutes right here on ACC Network. But at 4:30 and just about, well, it's already past 4:30. Let's see how much time we got left on the clock, you guys. That one ran a little. In about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, we're going to have this next game for you, NC State and Louisville, as you take a look at DJ Burns, big man for NC State. He's able to really, Luke, make a big impact for Wolfpack.
Yes, he is. I don't know why he's practicing that turn over the left shoulder, right hand, because it is right shoulder, left hand.
You know we're coming back to that left hand, baby.
Yeah, he's a bucket on the block. I like the dynamics of this team. They got guards that can really fill it up from the perimeter. He's obviously a presence in the paint. They got to put it all together today.
Yeah, I agree. I just think the inside-outside combination of DJ Horn, DJ Burns on the inside, they both get buckets, they both can score. They're huge impact players for the NC State team. Looking forward to seeing what they do against this Louisville squad.
You're taking a look at the career scoring leaders against the active ACC players. DJ Burns, he had 27 points last week. But you guys, as we're talking about this and looking at this list, you see a lot of North Carolina, who of course has a lot of experience, but both of the DJs for NC State bring a lot of experience as well. Why can that help NC State make a run?
Well, when you get into a bind and when you need someone to step up, you have those two guys. You know the game gets to a point where you need to have your team settle down. So what do? You can get the ball to DJ Burns on the block, let him make a play, or we know DJ Horn can play with the best of them, can wiggle with the ball. Those are guys that can settle your team down when things are chaotic.
And they're motivated, right? They don't have a whole lot of guys who have made deep tournament runs or been, automatic bids to the NCAA tournament, right? They have to find a way to motivate these guys to come out and play their best basketball. Right now, they got the veterans.
There's nothing more motivating than win or go home, which is the situation right now. This could be your last game in college basketball for some of these guys. So, big game. Looking forward to seeing the effort tonight.
You're seeing Kenny Payne right now getting ready to coach his Louisville team, trying to get them back on the winning side of these things, and definitely has that mindset of it's a new season here, as they have lost 7 straight, and they did lose the only regular season meeting that they faced the Wolfpack. It was a 6-point win for NC State. Counting you down to tip-off here on Nothing But Net. We are less than 8 minutes away from the start of this game. We'll have more as we break down what's next after this. To Capital One Arena, and welcome come into nothing but net. About 4.5 minutes to go until the start of the game between Louisville and NC State. Both of these teams hoping to make a run and try and be one of the teams makes it out of here and advances to the second round. Winner of this game gets Syracuse. As you take a look at what these two teams have done head-to-head all time, it's been a pretty close matchup in the last 20 games, y'all. I mean, not just 10 wins and 10 wins, but the points as well. It was a 6-point win for NC State when the two teams faced each other earlier this year. Time to make some picks in this game, as you've got the Wolfpack, who of course won the lone regular season meeting, trying to get back on the winning side of things, and a Louisville team, Luke, that I know is desperate to come out here, have a new mentality and mindset if they want to do anything in March. So your pick for this game is going to be who?
Yeah, this is a tough one. You got my old coach and my old school. I mean, what am I supposed to? I'm going
It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up for you.
DJ Horn had 27 in the first meeting with these two teams. I'm going NC State, but we're going to need DJ Horn to be that good again.
Yeah, I got NC State. Same reason, inside-outside combination. Both DJs getting busy. I got NC State winning.
I got NC State in this one, too. I think DJ Burns getting the ball on the block, but then if you bring a double team, he's able to kick it out, and that's when NC State can start playing out off a long closeout. So I got NC State in this one.
Guys, I'm not going to be the decisive person that flips it the other way and saves our graphic. I'm going NC State on this one as well. We mentioned both of the DJs and what they've been able to do, DJ Burns and DJ Horn. DJ Horn had a tough time shooting their last time out against Pitt. I think he's able to turn it on in this game and hopefully get them back on the right side of things. You think this is team, all of you, that could be poised to make a run in the ACC tournament in the Wolfpack. It starts right now with Louisville. You notice Coach Boeheim's not with us. He left us for bigger and better. West Durham, Corey Alexander, Jim Boeheim on the call.
ACC men's basketball tournament.
This is going to be a fantastic matchup.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
They'll go into the tournament with plenty of momentum.
Give it to him! Double wow, what a play. Hubert Davis's team stays in front.
Are you kidding me?
Must-see TV.
Most of America doesn't know about DJ Hall.
That is big time. Three-ball good.
Filipowski, one of the best.
Ready to rock the breakaway. Hey! Well, we welcome you back to Washington, D.C., and it is a beautiful Tuesday for day one of the 71st annual ACC men's basketball tournament presented by T. Rowe Price. We're inside Capital One Arena for 10-seed NC State and the 15-seed Louisville, who played back in mid-January. The Wolfpack won a 6-point game. Let's take you to the bracket. Georgia Tech stormed back, took the lead briefly in the last couple of minutes, but Notre Dame holds on behind 21 points and 8 assists from the ACC's Rookie of the Year, Marcus Burton. Notre Dame will advance to meet Wake Forest in tomorrow's second round, and Corey, Marcus Burton delivered the goods in his first tournament game.
And going up against another very good freshman point guard in Nathan George, Marcus Burton showed why he was named the ACC Rookie of the Year, putting his team on his back, coming away with a win in the ACC.
So Micah Shrewsbury, Damon Stoudemire, two first-year coaches meeting in this event in a first game for the first time in 10 years. We welcome you courtside. Corey Alexander played in this event. He was all-tournament coach in the early 90s.
He was?
About 30 years ago.
Remember that as we talk.
About 30 years ago, and you know the Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim, who's come across the floor in less than 1 year, Corey, to join us here at the table.
You know what's so crazy? A year ago today, we were talking about him, and now we're talking to him. How crazy is that,
Yeah,
Coach?
but you'll still talk about me, too.
All right, Louisville and NC State are here. This is an interesting line because the Wolfpack are a little banged up here. DJ Horn, Corey, doubtful. He did come out and warm up tonight for Kevin Keats.
Kevin Keats did not know if he would be available or not. As they said, right now it's doubtful. But when you think about this NC State team, DJ Burns, Casey Morcell, a number of guys who could be playing their last game, they're going to have to play with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose a guy like Horn, I mean, it's just such a tough loss. And Louisville, as poorly as they've played at times, they have played well at times.
Yep.
So you have to be aware of them as a coach, that they can play well. And you always think this will be the game they play well against us. And Louisville's capable of doing that.
Well, Kenny Payne under fire a little bit as he comes here to the tournament. And Corey, They have lost 7 straight and 8 of 9 after what looked like in January they might kind of be building a little bit with 2 straight wins.
But if there is any silver lining to the dark cloud, it is that Brandon Huntley-Hatfield and Tyler Johnson are playing their best basketball coming into the ACC tournament.
So without DJ Horn on the floor, plenty will fall on the shoulders of DJ Burns. He and Jaden Taylor, Mohamed Diarra, Casey Morsell, and Michael O'Connell fill out Keats' card. Meanwhile, a Louisville lineup that's become familiar to Card fans with Clark and James, White, Huntley, Hatfield, that Corey mentioned, and there's Tyler Johnson, the freshman from Brooklyn, with the ball. And the Cards get us started here in D.C. Huntley, Hatfield, a kick out for Clark's 3. Sky Clark, 41st 3 of the year, starts our scoring.
And a great start for Scott Clark. Hasn't had a great shooting year this year. However, he's a guy that's more than capable from beyond the arc.
Michael O'Connor, the transfer from Stanford, runs NC State's offense. Here's our first matchup with Burns and Huntley Hatfield. DJ reverses to the baseline and scores.
They have no answer for him. If he can handle the lengthy amount of time he needs to be in there, he's hard to handle, and he's got to be the key with Horn out.
Huntley, Hatfield, White. Here's Clark again against O'Connell. Back to Johnson against Diarra. Oh, Tyler through traffic. Wolfpack with Morsell. You see NC State's order. Keep an eye on Diarra. He is a terrific rebounder at both ends of the floor, especially on the defensive end.
But WD, one thing we know, when he makes a 3, he's a better basketball player. Kevin Keats made that very clear as we see Huntley Hatfield with a great job defensively denying DJ Burns.
First turnover of the day belongs to the Wolfpack. Johnson. Here's James. Sky Clark. And now James attacks on the dribble. Huntley Hatfield off the baseline. Cards have put 5 points on the board in their first 3 trips.
Coach, that was great ball movement by the Cards. That's got to be encouraging when you see your team approach the game like that early, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're off to a great start, and, you know, State's going to answer.
O'Connell a 3.
And they do.
Michael O'Connell, almost as if he heard Coach over here.
They're listening to me. I don't know why.
Did your players listen to you, Coach? No. Okay, I was just wondering.
15th 3 of the year for O'Connell, and we're locked up at 5. Tyler Johnson, Corey, wants the ball in his hand, and he kind of ignites whatever Louisville's offensive set is going to be, it feels like.
He absolutely does. He's their facilitator, 108 assists on the year. However, this time he goes to get a bucket. He's touched the paint multiple possessions already in this game.
These don't look like 2 teams that have been struggling.
Jaden Taylor, who's been terrific, gets his first basket. He had 28 at Pitt in the regular season finale on Saturday night. He's been 20 or more in 3 of his last 4 for the Wolfpack. Clark through traffic, and he scores.
That's a tough finish. Scott Clark gave up the strong side to go to the weak side of the rim and attack DJ Burns' body to make sure he wasn't available as a shot blocker.
Diarra thought about it. To Corey's point about shooting 3s for the Missouri transfer. There goes Morsell. He lost it in the air. Huntley Hatfield recovers the Wolfpack turnover.
Oh, over and back.
Oh, that's over and back. Yep. Turnover on Louisville. Unforced error for Kenny Payne's team.
The Cards have been attacking the paint and sharing the rock. Mike James finds Brandon Huntley Hatfield, who knocks down the mid-range jumper. And then Tyler Johnson going with the little reverse, some English off the glass to finish. And Sky Clark with the tough finish, attacking DJ Burns, and still the concentration to get the bucket.
So the dead ball opportunity pushes DJ Burns to Kevin Keats' bench. Ben Middlebrooks wears 34 for the Wolfpack. He's come in to fill that post spot. Pretty normal exchange if you've seen NC State play at all during the course of the year. That ball got deflected. It'll stay with the higher-seeded Wolfpack.
But, Coach, as you mentioned, DJ Burns not in the position to be able to go for long stretches. So it's important to have a guy like, of course, Middlebrooks, correct?
Yeah, Middlebrooks is good, and it hurts them to have Burns 3 minutes into the game. He's got to come out for a rest. That's not good.
Giveaway by the Wolfpack. Here's Huntley Hatfield. Back to Trey White in traffic, who scores.
Louisville does not look like a team that's lost a bunch of games in a row.
And as a coach, when you see your team come in with an inspired effort like this into the ACC tournament where you are basically starting a new season, that's got to make you feel good about your preparation, correct?
Yeah, it's 100%. I mean, they're doing everything right, and there's no reason for that to happen. Kenny Payne's obviously done a great job getting them prepared. Come in here, let's play this game and see what happens.
7 points for Clark on the dunk. Louisville's hit 6 of their first 7, and they can't collect it there. It'll stay with the Wolfpack. Well, DJ Burns has had a sequence already here for Kevin Keats, but Louisville off to a hot start. Cards have hit 6 of their first 7. The last one with Burns over on the Wolfpack bench. The ACC Men's Basketball Tournament is presented by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Oh, did you see the Silver Fox, Everett Case? There's the Newland Needle, Tommy Burleson, and Jim Valvano. That was NC State's last ACC tournament title at Old Capitol Center in 1987.
Yeah, I can remember that Wolfpack, and now as Kevin Keats is leading this Wolfpack, they've gotten off to a slow start here. No DJ Horn, and the Louisville Cardinals have looked great out to a 13-7 lead.
Well, how about they're 6 for 7, and NC State's 3 for 4. That's pretty good for teams that have struggled so much.
But the problem is NC State only with 4 attempts compared to the 7 for Louisville, which is the reason why Louisville holds that 6-point lead.
Yep.
Middlebrook stays on the floor. Here's Taylor for 3. Bounds away. Johnson the rebound. Cards off to this strong start. Scott Clark's been a big reason. He's got 7 of their first 13. White misses. Diarra cleans it up, and here's Taylor in the Wolfpack trying to flip the floor. Middlebrooks. Quick pass. Diarra rolled in.
Wasn't pretty, but it went in.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Coach, it was kind of tight quarters on that pass, right? More like a handoff than it was a pass.
Yeah. Whoops.
That's still an assist, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I knew you would agree with that.
Well, Coach and I both were point guards.
There's White knocking down the 3.
Well, I really was the point guard, but Dave Bing handled the ball all the time, so I don't know if you can call me.
So we'll call you just the other guy.
I was the other guy.
There you go. That works.
I was
other guy in the backcourt with Dave Bing.
I was good at taking the ball out of bounds and making sure he got it. That was my best attribute.
7-point lead for Louisville. Here is O'Connell firing one diagonally for Taylor. Morcell. Back rim miss. Taylor will give him a second chance. Diarra. Back for Jaden again at the front. Died on the back iron. Middlebrooks. And it rolls off. He'll be at the line for 2 here.
Yeah, it worked.
So another look at this in traffic, guys.
Yeah, this is really, I'm not sure how he caught it, but he got it and he finished. So I'm going to
just the way we drew it up.
It's like in golf. There's no room on the scorecard for a picture. Just, it's an assist and a bucket.
Coach, I've never heard that one before, but I believe I will use it.
Cardinals.
It's true.
Caleb Glenn, the foul, his first. That's our first of the ball game, and that'll bring Ben Middlebrooks, who. And DJ Burns is waiting on Middlebrooks. By the way, Jim, in this world we live in, Middlebrooks left Clemson for State the same day Jack Clark left State for Clemson. As I told Corey earlier, the league did not ratify it as a trade, but it sure felt like one.
Yeah, I think there was a player to be named later, too. In that.
So Middlebrooks hit them both. That lets DJ Burns back in the game, but Corey, still a 5-point deficit here for the Wolfpack.
Well, the Wolfpack are a different team, especially on the offensive end. When DJ Burns is on the floor, they have almost like a point center to be able to play through. DJ Burns such a great facilitator. But the problem for the Wolfpack to this point has been they haven't been able to get stops against the Cards.
Clark, and the jump shot good. Boy, Scott Clark's got 9. He's almost to double figures for the 6th time in the last 8 games.
But, Coach, that's why I said that they're a different team on the offensive end, because defensively, you see Kenny Payne is going to put DJ Burns in all the action and pick and roll.
Yep.
Burns and offensive foul. Let's get a quick check of our food line, food for thought, here in this first half, and it's the last 4 games for DJ Burns.
And you look at the numbers, scoreless at Florida State, only 9 against North Carolina on the road, but coming home and getting 27 against the Blue Devils at PNC. And they're going to need a big performance for him to get a win here in the ACC tournament.
He's just not the player he was last year. He was just more consistent. He could go for longer stretches.
And I think he just got his second foul. Sure did. In a series of seconds, DJ Burns has gone from no fouls to 2 fouls. But both of the team fouls belong to Burns.
And no DJ Horn in the lineup, so now the second DJ is getting foul trouble. But, Coach, you, of course, have coached a number of great big men. When they were in foul trouble and guys were prone to get in foul trouble, what would you tell them about a play like that?
You know, you just can't commit bad fouls. When you're a big guy, you've got to use your fouls being aggressive, going for the ball. You know, you can't use them reaching and grabbing people, and you can't waste those fouls. Now, we had the luxury, again, because we played so much zone all the time, that if you got 2, I never took a guy out, because it's hard to attack a particular guy in the zone. So that's the one advantage I've always felt about playing the zone. You could leave guys in when they got their second foul.
Well, and Louisville's taking advantage of it. Run this lead to 9 at 20-11. And Breon Pass is coming to the lineup. Kevin Keats talked to us yesterday about Pass potentially getting a lot more action. Zan Payne has come in. He'll try and stop Middlebrooks. Cannot. It got tapped around, and finally, Kenny Sun comes away with a rebound. Here's the lead for Huntley Hatfield. And taking away Taylor, a terrific play. Here's O'Connell. Kick back from Morcell's 3. Nope.
Casey Morcell unable to get it to go. And, of course, a little more pressure on Casey playing in front of about 25 friends and family. No pressure at all on Scott Clark as he has been on one here to start this game, WD.
He has got a dozen, and Clark just dropped in his second 3. 30-second break in D.C. Well, Scott Clark finished the regular season with 11 points last Saturday against BC. Corey, he was 0 for 5 from 3 and 4 from 10 from the floor.
And he's already eclipsed that early in this game, WD. 12 points for Scott Clark already. 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. And the Cardinals have gone on a 16-4 run since this game was tied at 7. Scott Clark has had a lot to do with that. It was actually his steal and slam dunk when the game was tied at 7 to open it up for the Cards.
And if he'd have played like this all year, he struggled to score, and they needed his scoring. And it's when a guy plays like this, it makes him a different team. And, you know, they just didn't have that this year.
Coach, he came in at 32% three-point shooting and 40% from the floor.
But, Coach, you've been in a scenario before where your team hasn't had the best season, but when you go into the tournament, what are you telling your guys? Are you talking to them about a fresh start?
I mean, that's what you do. That's what you try to do. But it's easier said than done, for sure. But they're playing like it's a fresh start for them, and that's what the coach has done.
Boy, what a big basket for Breon Pass. Just his 4th 3 of the year in 11 tries. Cuts it back to a 9-point Louisville lead.
WD, I'm going to need to see a replay. Our super director of Griff in the control room.
Yeah.
Because I think that hit the glass from the corner.
It was a glass. I mean,
and that's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
Morcell trying to answer, cannot. Casey struggling. Look at Middlebrooks go back, and he'll get to the line for 2 more on another Louisville foul. We get a timeout before we watch the artistry out of the corner of Breon Pass. That's next from D.C. Well, don't forget, after Game 3 of this Day 1, Kelsey Riggs, Luke Hancock, Joel Berry, Carlos Boozer, all right there, and nothing but net. All the games, all the analysis wraps up Day 1 here tonight on ACC Network. Wait a second. Corey, I was better. He was the MVP, by the way.
He absolutely was.
16.
He absolutely was the MVP in 2016. I remember watching it from upstairs. Side note, I coached Joel. We'll get on to that later. However, in 2016, after Joel won MVP of the ACC tournament, went on to the national championship game.
That's right.
Where he lost on a buzzer-beating shot by
Chris Jenkins.
DC's own Chris Jenkins, Gonzaga High School, right down the street. See, Joel didn't recognize that when he came in here throwing up fonts talking about Corey I was better.
Well, I'm just saying he did win the Case Award.
He absolutely did. Was an elite player. It came back and, of course, won a national championship in 2017.
Yep.
Yeah.
19 points, by the way, for Barry in that title game in this building the last time the tournament was here. Middlebrook's got 1 of 2. And Clark juggles it and runs it down against Cam Woods, who's going to get some action today with horns. Inability to go, and Scott Clark is on fire. That's 15 in the first half.
Bad play, broken play, 3-point bucket. That's the way he's going today.
Clark 15, the Pack 15, Corey.
Well, Clark getting off to a great start. We saw him get an easy bucket earlier. And for guys who shoot and play with a lot of rhythm, that always helps.
3-ball away, and that's good. Breon pass.
Now, that's the traditional look from Breon pass. That one straight on knocks it down. Nothing but net, and I love the fact that Breon Pass is taking advantage of his opportunity here in the ACC tournament.
Yep, young man, highly recruited out of Reidsville, North Carolina, as a football wide receiver. Came to Raleigh to play basketball for Kevin Keats. 10 to shoot. Mike James has been quiet so far. Back to Clark. He has not. The volume is all the way up for Scott Clark. 2 more. No, back rim miss. Got his own rebound. Tried to get Huntley Hatfield. A quick touch.
A little too unselfish on that one from Scott. He caught it and had an easy one.
Taylor had it blocked on the perimeter by Johnson. Clark's early start here offensively, guys, seemed to have fueled the whole Louisville team as Tyler scores at the rim.
I'm going to look at it differently, WD. I think that's the guy. Tyler Johnson was in the paint to start this game off, finding his teammates, sharing the basketball. He actually got Scott Clark a good look early. I believe he's been the guy that ignited it. However, Scott Clark has kept the fire going.
Morsell into traffic. Reroutes on Huntley Hatfield, and Casey Morsell's on the board in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, he got closer to the basket. He's got to try to get there instead of taking threes.
Lob by Johnson. Oh, it wasn't a lob. It was a kiss.
There you go. It was a kiss.
It was a lob to the basket.
6 for Tyler Johnson.
My favorite person to pass to, Coach.
The glass?
No, the basket.
The basket.
But speaking of the glass.
Yeah.
We had a look earlier. Oh, we got a little extracurricular, guys.
What are we doing now? Come on, fellas.
Calm it down.
Yeah, we got a look earlier from Breon Pass knocking down the 3 in the corner. We questioned it. Did it hit the glass?
Yes.
It did.
Yes.
I tell you what, you cannot duplicate that in a horse contest. However, the touch by Tyler Johnson, spectacular off the glass.
I think there's maybe one a year from the corner that hit the glass and go in.
Well, I'm glad Breon redeemed himself because, you know, the pickup game, Coach, you know, we take that off. No, that does not count. He came back and redeemed himself, knocking down the 3 from the wing.
Jaden Taylor checks out for NC State. Zan Payne gets a seat for the Cards. So you've got new faces on the floor here. DJ Burns stays on Kevin Keats' bench with those 2 fouls about 4 minutes ago in game time. And Morsell hits both free throws. So NC State trailing 8 here to a hot shooting Louisville team. The Cards are 12 of 16, 4 of 5 from behind the line. And here's Glenn inside, looking for position, and threw it away. Trying to go to White, and it's O'Connell. Here's Michael O'Connell on the drive, and the floater good. 5 for O'Connell.
You know, they're in this game and they really shouldn't be, and that's a good sign for NC State.
Under 9 to go in this first half. Tyler Johnson here against Morsell. Casey defends it well, Corey. Outlet for Woods. Here goes Cam Woods trying to get into action, and that'll be an offensive foul.
That is big boy basketball right there. Cam Woods lowering the shoulder. We talked about Breon Pass and his football ability. This time you see Cam Woods just created the contact, dislodging Trey White for the bucket, but that's going to go the other direction. You're never getting away with that one.
Cam Woods trying to jam the route on the release, wasn't he? So Louisville, the 6-point lead here. And Woods is going to stay on the floor. He and pass. And look at O'Connell now. Fishes out the pass. He'll take it down and score.
O'Connell giving NC State a great lift. The steal and the score, getting them back into striking distance. And Coach, earlier I was talking about pickup basketball. When's the last time you actually played pickup? Can you remember?
100 years ago. Thank you. We're out.
Well, when you come to Washington, of course, you run into basketball history all over the city, and none stronger than Archbishop Carroll and the history there of George Lepwich, but also John Thompson was an Archbishop Carroll guy.
How about walking in the hallways of your school and seeing that life-size statue of Big John looking at you coming down the hallway? You've had a couple of stare downs with Big John, I would say.
I'll tell you what, you're not going to run past that set. You're going to be respectful and be careful because he might come out of there and get you.
Of course, we're in the building where many of the huge Georgetown-Syracuse rivalries took place.
Well, you're not kidding.
Coach, I'm sure you got a lot of memories of those matchups.
Yeah,
in this
mostly bad.
Didn't go well, Coach?
They didn't always go well. No, not when Big John was here.
4-point lead for the Cards. NC State has rallied on a 6-0 run. And there's a foul off the ball on Pass trying to defend Mike James. So Breon Pass, who only averaged 5 minutes a game for the Wolfpack in conference play, played 14 minutes the other night after Horn got hurt, being asked to come on here, and he's knocked down a couple threes so far for NC State. That ball got deflected in traffic, scooped up by James, and Woods, I think, stripped it out of there, but Lee Cassell, no, it's Pass.
But WD, one of the things we've got to make sure we get cleared up now.
Okay.
Everyone hears the terminology, the DMV.
Sure.
Which stands for the District of Columbia,
right,
Maryland, and Virginia. However, it's not the whole state of Maryland, and it's not the whole state of Virginia. It is small sections. It's D.C. Now, of course, D.C. residents, for the most part, do not claim DMV. They're only D.C.
Right.
It's normally people from Maryland and Virginia, and it's only Northern Virginia doing so. A lot of history in this tournament from guys from the DMV, starting with 2011 most valuable player Nolan Smith, who is on the bench for the Louisville Cardinals as one of their assistant coaches. As there's my guy who was inducted into the Oak Hill Hall of Fame this past week.
And so were you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was trying to edge you on to bring that up. I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Academy Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but like they say, you were like low on the list of the better players there.
Here's Middlebrooks inside. Couldn't finish. Here's Louisville on the turn. Johnson. Bounce pass, thrown away. Tried to go to Huntley Hatfield. Taylor has made some terrific defensive stops for State. And at the other end, Woods threw it up there, and it dropped in.
That's been the Achilles heel for the Louisville Cardinals all season long. They have a negative 49 assist to turnover rate throughout the season, but negative 32 overall in ACC play. And just like that, NC State's able to get it back to a 4-point game off of the miscue.
That is just the 5th field goal of the year for the North Carolina A&T transfer, Cam Woods.
Well, I can tell you this, Cam Woods now has 15 points on the season. 9 of those came in his debut.
Yeah. Tough shot, Trey White, Coach.
I mean, when you have to make those shots, you're going to have a long day normally. That was really tough. They were moving the ball better earlier and getting better shots and making it.
Taylor trying to use Middlebrooks for the screen. O'Connell. Back from Middlebrooks and Michael O'Connell. Corey, he's got 9 here in the first half.
Yeah, he understands DJ Horn not on the floor. He's going to pick up his scoring. Is one of the guys who's part of that starting backcourt for the Wolfpack.
And took it away from Clark. Look away. Morcell the catch and the finish. And like that, State to within 2. Johnson for Clark. Ten to shoot, 5.5 to go in this opening 20, and there's another turnover. Morcell crosses over, layup, fell off the rim. NC State doing it defensively here.
That's the way they got this run started, getting the job done defensively. And then you see Cam Woods using every part of the rim, trying to find the angle, and then defensively, O'Connell coming up with the steal. The kick-ahead pass, I won't call it quite Wes Unseldish. However, it was a pretty good pass. And the only reason I bring up, of course, the great Wes Unseld, because we are talking about the greatest of all time for the Louisville Cardinals, and his banner happens to hang in this building which we sit.
And the greatest outlet passer of all time.
Absolutely.
I saw him in person when I was young, so I know Wes Unseld.
Hold on, wait. When you were young.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Now, you might want to go ahead and finish this story here.
I was in college, and I saw him.
You didn't recruit him. You played against him, right?
No, he was younger than me a little bit, freshman.
So wait a minute. So when he says he was young, so Wes was even younger.
Yeah, he was a 17-year-old. He left his handprint up on the practice gym basket right at the top of the circle. I said, okay. I said, that's good.
Yeah.
I like him.
You knew greatness was on the way.
On the way.
Curtis Williams, you see, the freshman from Detroit. He's wearing number 1 for Louisville on the floor for the first time. Sky Clark's the game's leading scorer. He's got 15, but we're tied at 34 after the Morsell free throws. Huntley Hatfield to work on Diarra. Into traffic, right-hand block by Mo Diarra.
One-on-one basketball, opposite of what they played in the beginning when they were getting good shots.
Woods trying to beat Clark on the bounce, and Scott Clark swats it out of there. 17 to shoot here for the Pack.
Clark has not gotten a shot since he was 5 for 5 in the beginning. He missed one shot, and he hasn't seen a ball since then. And this is why Louisville has struggled all year. They play really well, and then they turn it over, layup, and now they're right back in the game.
Woods, 10 to shoot for O'Connell. Skip for Taylor. On the drive, and a block is called. It's going to be on Mike James. And that'll put Jaden Taylor, the Butler transfer, to the line with a chance to give the Wolfpack the lead, Corey.
Well, you know, today is, of course, an opportunity for Jaden Taylor to be able to step into the lineup and make sure that you mentioned the career high 28 the last time out for him. It's an opportunity for him without DJ Horn to be able to step up as the offensive role. However, give the Cards a lot of credit for kind of holding him in check to this point, but NC State off their defense have now, with that free throw, built their first lead of the game.
Jim, to your point, Louisville's having a harder time getting the shots they got earlier, but coincide that, Kevin Keats is getting some effort by guys on his bench.
Yeah, they're playing well off the bench, and that's the kind of call right there that can go either way. It really, toughest call. That's one of the toughest calls in basketball.
But Coach, as you've been in this game, which is seemingly forever, you've seen how much different it is to be able to get a charge. I mean, now in comparison to before.
Yeah, it's much harder, but it still, I think, should be harder. I think they should take the circle out and make everything a block. Just take it out of the game.
I would have loved that. It would have kept me on the floor longer for all the offensive fouls I got.
18 for Clark, by the way, as he pushes Louisville back in front. O'Connell cannot answer. Here are the Cards now, under 4 to go. Huntley Hatfield against Diarra. Backs him all the way down, and the short fall away rolls in.
That's a good comeback. He gets his shot blocked last time down. He comes right back at him. I think he's got a chance to be a good player. He's starting to get there, but I think he's still got a lot of range left in his game.
Yeah, just the junior from Clarksville, Tennessee. Originally started his career in Knoxville. Second year with Louisville. There goes Taylor into traffic. Oh, nice move around Williams and the layup for Jaden Taylor.
And we see Jalen Taylor now, after seeing the ball go through the basket at the free throw line, he's starting to pick it up offensively, using multiple pivot feet. You didn't think about that. To be able to get that bucket. It'll hit you later.
No, I know what you're saying. I hear you. Scott Clark. See him circling the baseline. Meanwhile, here's Taylor, the steal, and the dunk. 7 for Taylor, all here in the last couple of sequences.
Too many mistakes, and that's why you lose.
9th turnover by the Cardinals.
And turnovers that lead to buckets.
James in traffic, and he'll score. First field goal for Orlando's Mike James.
Yeah, Mike James had 20 points the last time these two teams got together on January 13th. So normally when you see a guy have success, they're looking to be ultra aggressive early. That hasn't been the case for James.
O'Connell.
But it has been
for Michael O'Connell.
It has been the case for O'Connell. I haven't seen him this aggressive in a game thus far for the Wolfpack.
Well, it's nice to see them pick up the slack. P.J. Horn's not playing, and they're going to come out here and do something about it, and that's pretty good to see.
Huntley Hatfield trying to beat Diarra. Scores and puts Louisville back in front. 8 for Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
WD, he comes in averaging 17 points and 9 rebounds over his last 10 games, so he's been playing the best basketball of his career as of late.
I agree. Morcell, hard shot, and he scores. That's 10 for Casey Morcell. Tied at 43.
Well, we've seen great deep offense here in this first half. Defense optional, however.
And knocked away. It will stay with the Cards.
Well, WD, we don't have a cake for it. However, today is the anniversary of the day that Jim Boeheim made the entire world stay up way past their bedtime with a game that lasted 3 hours and 46 minutes, 6 overtime games. Thank you, Coach.
I tried not to do this.
Well, there is Nigel Pack of Miami. And Corey, it's been a rough one for Nigel Pack and for Jim Larinaga here. They come in to meet BC tonight in our second game.
It has. Nigel Pack did not play in their regular season finale at Florida State. Be interesting to see if he's on the floor today, but he would absolutely help Jim Larinaga and the Canes, who have lost 9 straight coming into the ACC tournament.
Injuries have really taken the toll on Miami all year. A different guy, different times, and they're a very thin team, and one guy out is not good for a team like Miami. Some teams can handle that. Miami is not one of those teams.
BC will be here off a win. Earl Grant's team victorious at Louisville on Saturday to close the regular season. Eagles played much better as the season wore on. That'll be the third of our 3 first-round games here on this Tuesday in Washington. Scott Clark has been terrific for Louisville. Huntley Hatfield on the kick out. Mike James the miss, and Trey White can't finish the tap. And here is Jaden Taylor in the Wolfpack, tied at 43 with 70 seconds and change. The steady hand of Michael O'Connell's been impressive here in the first half, too.
He absolutely has on both ends of the floor, not just his offense, but defensively getting the job done as well.
Taylor missed the jump shot. Clark and the Cards on the run. Here goes Scott Clark trying to make his own money. Huntley Hatfield out of the corner, and it drops in for 3. Just the 9th 3 of the year for Huntley Hatfield.
Did you ever get a bounce like that? Come on, seriously?
11 for Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
Coach, being that we don't have video proof to deny it, all of mine hit the bottom of the net.
No bankers from the corner.
3-point lead. Final half minute. Middlebrooks. Burns has been in foul trouble since about the 12.5-minute mark. Ben inside the scoop and score with the left hand. 5 for Middlebrooks. Louisville can hold for the final shot here. Scott Clark's been terrific. He's got 18 in this first half. And he'll take the last shot. Off balance 3, and that'll do it. Teams will go to the locker room. Louisville leads by 1 here, Corey and Coach.
But WD, Louisville ended the half the same way they started it, attacking the paint, sharing the basketball, finding teammates, and Huntley Hatfield was able to knock down the 3 from the corner.
Only once has the 15 beaten the 10. Let's join Kelsey Riggs.
Guys, thanks so much. How about that first half? Louisville with the 46-45 lead over NC State. As we say hello courtside here from Capital One Arena alongside Joel Berry II, Carlos Boozer, Luke Hancock. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. And quite a first half. We had a great first game. And then, Luke, this first half has been riveting as well. Louisville jumped out to a big lead. NC State clawed back, but Sky Clark has really been the difference maker. How?
Yeah, this is my kind of game. Defense is optional. All we're worried about is scoring the basketball. These shooting percentages are outrageous right now, but I love the confidence Sky Clark has in this game. He's hit tough shots. He's gotten to the rim. He's knocked down the three ball. He had that long stretch after he made 5 in a row where he just kind of let his foot off the gas, but even late hitting another jumper there. He's been the catalyst for Louisville's offense.
Yeah, Louisville needed somebody to give him that kind of spark, that lift. First ACC tournament game today. He comes out scorching, 18 points. They forgot about him for a little bit, but then he came back.
Yeah, and I thought that in the latter half of the second half, NC State did a good job of stopping Sky Clark. You know, when you have a guy that has it going, now you kind of get bodies around him. You kind of take the ball out of his hand, and that's what led to NC State being able to get out on the break, get some points off of turnovers, and that's what led them to getting back in this game. Louisville was getting whatever they wanted offensively. They started getting those turnovers, and NC State started making a run.
What do you do when that starts happening, Booz? Because we heard the guys talking about in the game, it felt like one turnover led to the points, led to another turnover, and they kind of get in this rhythm where Louisville feels like they can't get out of it when they get themselves in trouble.
You got to have a veteran voice to calm everybody down and settle themselves down a little bit, and then give the ball back to Sky Clark because he was cooking up. But I do think that's what NC State did. They turned them over. They got fast break points. They had 10 points in transition. They also dominated with 22 points in the paint. Did a great job there. Big shout out to Michael O'Connell. Did a great job of coming on, having big shots, making big plays for them, especially without DJ Horn. Phenomenal job by that kid.
Yeah, defensively is what I like. I mean, once NC State turned on the press, Louisville started to play on their heels, and what you have to do when you're going against pressure is attack. That first defender cannot have you on your heels. You got to drive past. The defense will collapse and then make the right play.
You mentioned both of these teams shooting really well in the first half. Louisville, 67% from the field. NC State, 58%. Looking forward to seeing the optional defense in the second half. Our third game of the day right here on ACC Network. But speaking of showstoppers, how about what we've seen from Sky Clark so far in the first half? 18 points already as Louisville has the 1-point lead over NC State. Maybe we'll see somebody try to top this dunk in the second half.
Skywalker.
I mean, I don't know if you can do it, though. Joel, you should get out there. That looks like a great net for you to go dunk on. Just kidding. We love each other. Second half, more coming after this. Louisville with the 1-point lead, but what have you seen?
Well, I like this bucket, but Michael O'Connell, 3 steals in the first half, part of the crew that gave Louisville turnovers on 26.5% of those first half possessions.
Some to keep an eye on if they can make some of those adjustments and capitalize in the second half. This has been your ACC Network Halftime Report.
You're watching the ACC Men's Basketball Tournament presented by T. Rowe Price. It's day 1, and this is game 2. Louisville, off its best shooting half of the year, leads NC State 46-45. And we've got a couple of star stories of guys who have been crushing it as of late, and it's brought to you by Crush. And we're going to start with Sky Clark from Los Angeles. The Illinois transfer went for 18 in the first half. I mean, it was good. 7 for 9 from the floor, 4 of 5 from 3. A little handiwork on defense, Corey.
He absolutely did. Got the dunk and started on the inside and then worked his way outside, coming off the screen and roll, knocking down the mid-range jumper, and also threw in a couple 3 balls. But Coach Michael O'Connell, he was the guy for NC State that got them back into the game.
He decided to take over for P.J. Horn and just do what P.J. Horn does, and that's score, play defense, move the ball, and, you know, it was terrific. If I'm NC State, I'm really happy if I'm coaching there because Louisville is not going to play that well offensively for 2 halves. You know, so you're in a good position considering how well Louisville played.
All right, you treat it like it's 0-0. We've heard that coaching adage before. But if you're NC State, you get DJ Burns back in the lineup. Jim, he left the game with 13:29 to go first half. We never saw him again.
Well, he should be rested then, I guess.
That's the coach's way of looking at it.
So Taylor, Diarra, Morcell, DJ Burns, Michael O'Connell. No DJ Horn today for the Wolfpack. Here is Burns right away with a left hand, and he gets the roll.
Starting off the game, the second half, the same way he started off the first half, attacking in the painted area. Louisville deciding not to trap simply because he's such a great passer. They'll take their chances with him playing one-on-one against Brandon Huntley-Hatfield.
White goes over and back. A turnover by the Cards. That'll be their 10th in the ball game.
They cannot stop Burns down low. I mean, he may miss a shot or two, but they're not going to stop him. He's just too hard down there to handle. Horsfield's just too thin to play him down there.
But, Coach, from a strategy standpoint, do you continue to throw the ball inside to Burns to force Louisville to try to trap him to open up things on the outside for your players?
Keep throwing to him until he tells you he's tired, which doesn't usually take a long time.
O'Connell a three. And, boy, what a terrific box out. Both Trey White and Scott Clark who got the rebound. Cards going to work with Clark. And here's Tyler Johnson. And that's an offensive foul. Michael O'Connor steps in front here.
This is there all the way. I mean, he just made up his mind he was going to drive and didn't react to the defense and just went right through him.
DJ Burns giving up the pass, and we'll see what happens on this possession. Guy won 1,100 games, wants it to go to 30.
The Hall of Famer wants it going back inside to 30.
To 30, yep.
Another one. That was close to another charge.
Morcell knocks down the three. He's got 13 now.
And that's his first three, and that'll make a difference with him.
But Casey's been a much better player in the second halves of games as of late, especially for NC State. Struggled with his shooting a little bit in the first half, but first one of the second half is good for Casey Morcell off the bounce.
Now look at this.
Well, you got to see, does the right arm extend?
Yeah.
No, it does not extend, Coach.
Come on, Coach.
No, Coach, you don't call that one offensive foul.
I didn't say you call it. I said it extended a little bit, but it was more of a fake than an actual charge.
Huntley-Hatfield taking it right at Burns with the two fouls, and Brandon scores.
See, and that's the difference. If I'm Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, when I know I'm going to have to battle to defend DJ Burns, I'm going at him every time on the offensive floor when I get the ball in my hands.
Out front, here's Diarra. Now Burns again, got Huntley-Hatfield in the air, and he'll get the one. A lot to look at here, Coach. It's a pretty good move by DJ Burns.
You cannot guard him man-to-man down there. You just can't. I don't think there's anybody in the league. I'll give you. He's getting mauled in there, and he's getting double grabbed with both hands. He's just too good down low. It's almost a continuation there. He kind of got hit on the ground, but we'll give him the and one on that one.
A smart play by DJ with the pump fake to get Huntley-Hatfield in the air, but also recognizing once he's in the air to get the shot on the basket, comes up with a three-point play.
He's got 3 of the Wolfpack 6 here to start the half. 5 of their 8, rather, to start the half. Beg your pardon. Third field goal and a free throw. And to your point, Jim, Louisville needs a little offensive punch here.
But this is where you go. Make him have to defend.
And there's the foul on Burns. Counter one with the other, don't you? Burns drew the foul now. Huntley-Hatfield gets Burns to his third.
That's what they have to do. Make him play defense, see if he can get him out, because they can't guard him on the other end. That's the best way to get him out of there.
But I will have to say, this may have been good defense by DJ Burns. Let's see. He has 2 hands there, but as he goes out,
he got him a little bit.
He does get him on the left. Does get him on that left elbow.
Free throw by Brandon Huntley-Hatfield is good. He's now got 3.5, 14 in the ball game. That's his third field goal.
Kevin Keats right now opting to keep DJ Burns on the floor, trusting him to stay away from that 4th foul, which we've seen DJ pick up fouls in bunches. We saw the 2 fouls happen about 20 seconds in the first half.
O'Connell scoops. Burns will follow and draw another foul.
I think he almost passed that, but I might be giving him a little too much credit. You think?
You talking about O'Connell?
Yeah.
Yeah, you give him too much credit. That was a shot, Coach.
Right,
that was a shot.
All right.
That's the type of passes you used to throw.
Yeah, I might be giving him a little too much credit.
Well, and the only reason I say that is because if you're passing that, normally it's off the glass for your big man to go dunk it. And that was DJ Burns on the other side of that, so then, that was going to be a below-the-rim finish for DJ.
He's not dunking that.
Don't forget the fourth leading scorer in conference play is a no-go today. That's DJ Horn, who averaged 18-1 against the league. And remember, Corey, he had 27 with 6 threes in the only meeting during the regular season with Louisville.
No, that's really what started the scoring spree for DJ Horn, where he went on to score over 25 points for 5 straight games, almost getting to J.J. Redick's status, who did it for 6 straight games at Duke.
Yep. Here's Tyler Johnson setting for 3. Middlebrooks has come in to replace Burns, and you see Diarra pull away the rebound. Wolfpack by 4. Morcell weaving through traffic. Here's Middlebrooks. And then O'Connell almost threw it away, did throw it away. Taylor had it once, Johnson had it once, and now last touch by Jaden Taylor.
I don't want it. You take it.
Well, and that's it, Coach. Casey Morcell got into the painted area. The only person back there was Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. Now, of course, Huntley-Hatfield, a much taller defender. But if you're Casey Morcell, you want to be able to attack that, and it ends up being a bad possession for NC State as we see the scramble to get the basketball. Kenny Payne thinks it should be going in his direction and agrees with the call.
By the way, that's the first NC State turnover in about 11 and a half minutes of game time. Miss out of the corner. Taylor fouled in the backcourt. Collision with Trey White. That'll be White's second and the 4th on the Cards.
That would have been a good block in a football game, but not here.
Well, Jeff Brom's a few seats down from us. We can go ask him. The Cards
he'd like
head
that.
coach.
He'd like that play.
There he is. Played in the ACC title game last year against Florida State and Charlotte. A lot of expectations what's going to happen this fall. When his second edition of Louisville takes the field, there's a 3 by Taylor. Huntley-Hatfield the rebound. Saw Coach Brom make a road trip this year to Chapel Hill. He likes his hoop now. And a scoop and score. No, White couldn't get it to go. Diarra pulls away one that hung on the rim.
Great job by Scott Clark touching the paint, though. Maybe he was a little too unselfish on that one himself.
Morcell falling to the ground, lost his balance, and Middlebrooks cleans it up.
That's what Ben Middlebrooks has done. 19 offensive rebounds in the last 6 games coming into this one, and has already picked up a number of them here today. That's his 3rd offensive rebound.
Very physical kid.
Yeah. Johnson looking for Huntley-Hatfield. Now we're going to get a foul called, and it's on Brandon.
Could have gone both ways. They both were doing it. It's just who do you catch?
So this is off the ball, Corey, and it's something we've seen called during the course of the year because it has to do with the reach around, right?
Right, trying to give yourself an advantage to be able to catch the basketball on the post. Kenny Payne coaching up Brandon Huntley-Hatfield on the sideline right now as he has to take him out of the game with that 3rd foul. And we know how important it is to have him on the floor. But how about this? You come off, you get coached up by Kenny Payne, and then once you get further down the bench, Danny Manning, 1988 National Player of the Year and National Champion, stops you to give you a couple of nuggets as well.
Exactly. So the Wolfpack by 6 with 4.5 gone in the second half. After Louisville's best shooting half in the first 20 minutes, here's Taylor off the turnover, and he's fouled. Couldn't finish the shot. He'll get a couple of free throws, and we're going to get a timeout in Washington. Louisville led by a point at the break. It is an 11-4 run to start the second half for the Wolfpack. There's Danny Manning at the Louisville bench. Back after this.
WD, I can only imagine what would be going through the mind of the Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim if we could read that bubble above his head. not only in the 47 years he was on the sideline, but also as he's sitting here having to work with you and I.
Yeah.
What is he thinking right now?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to caption that.
What do you think?
It's better than getting beat by 30 by somebody in a game someplace. But that's the only thing that it's better than.
7 for Taylor as he'll go to the line. We welcome you back to Washington. Day 1 of the 71st ACC tournament presented by T. Rowe Price with Jim Boeheim, Corey Alexander, Wes Durham. Great to have Kim Belton, who was a former Boeheim recruit, as our producer.
Yeah, he chose otherwise, though.
Another one that got away.
And Mike Griffin, our director. Terrific crew. Dave O'Brien, Jay Billis had game 1 for you.
I don't know how much credit I can give Griff, though, because we went to Insomnia Cookies last night, and I think he ate the entire box, WD. He left me like 1 cookie.
Wow.
Angel Gray, our guy, I mean, we had the whole crew.
Wow.
And I think I got 1 cookie left, I'm just sure.
Okay.
I highly doubt that.
Yeah, getting ready to say. Here's James turning and scoring. Mike James' second field goal. He's got 6. Big basket for the Cards there, Coach, 5 minutes in.
Oh, they need it. They need to get going. They need to try to get the ball back to Clark and get a couple shots, see if he can continue to shoot well. It's been a while since he's had a shot.
O'Connell, Morcell. Taylor looked at Middlebrooks and now gets it to him with Glenn defending. Ben burrowing in, and that'll be a foul on Caleb Glenn. That'll be his second, and that is 7 now on Louisville. Quick reminder to you, we've got ACC softball coming up for you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Number 15, Alabama visits Lonnie Almeida and number 18, Florida State. Terrific battle in the top 20. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So Ben Middlebrooks, speaking of Florida State, who's the nephew of the former Seminole quarterback Danny Cannell, at the line for the front end of the 1-and-1.
You know, Wes always comes up with some information that we really don't even need, doesn't he, Corey?
Oh, Coach.
How do you put him? You don't put him together with Danny Cannell.
So, Coach, what you're saying is we need the thought bubble on Wes? Is that what needs to happen at this point? We gotta put one over top of his head, or will there be a bunch of information that we don't need to know?
100%.
Middlebrooks has 9, by the way, Coach, as we move along. 7-point lead.
I didn't say he wasn't good. I just said I don't know why we need to put him with Danny Cannell. But that's
what's his uncle? That's I thought that might be applicable. You know. Here's Clark on the drop. Plus, Danny might be watching. Saved off the Middlebrooks block. And then the collision, and Clark will scoop and score.
Now, you can't blow the whistle because Ben Middlebrooks actually fouled Casey Morcell, his teammate, who had the basketball on that, and it ends up being an easy bucket for Scott Clark.
First point since about 4 minutes to go in the first half for Scott Clark. He's now got 20, and the Cards to within 5. Here's Middlebrooks, back toward the basket, can't finish inside. Glenn the rebound, and a whistling foul will be on the Wolfpack, and it's on Jaden Taylor. That gives NC State its 2nd team foul, first on the junior from Indianapolis.
Just an unlucky play for NC State. You see Ben Middlebrooks hit Casey Morcell after the nice save from O'Connell, but turns the basketball right over into the hands of Scott Clark with the easy layup.
Curtis Williams bring it to the front court. Freshman from Detroit, had 15 in the regular season meeting against the Wolfpack.
Yeah, 4 for 6 from beyond the 3-point arc. Unable to get anything going so far in this one offensively.
Clark tried to wrap it back to Glenn and turns it over. Morcell the other way off the Louisville turnover, and Diarra. Great bounce pass from Casey.
Yeah, but great job by Casey, really probing, keeping his head up, seeing what the defense was going to give him. Got to a point that we really could have taken the mid-range pull-up, but the nice pass to Diarra under the basket.
Lead is 7 now for NC State. Trying to find its 18th win of the year. They split their last 6 games of the regular season and finished the campaign with an 8-point loss at Pitt on Saturday. And James fouled on the drive. And it's going to be on Middlebrooks. It'll be his first and the 3rd on the Wolfpack. So the winner of this game will get the 7th-seeded Orange of Syracuse. Corey, that's tomorrow night late, following Clemson meeting the winner of our next game, 3rd game of the day, Boston College and Miami. And Notre Dame will meet Wake Forest in a 12-5 matchup at 2:30 tomorrow behind Virginia, Florida State, who start at high noon.
Well, I can tell you what we're going to do, WD. We are going to get a ISO cam one said Hall of Famer to my right during that Syracuse game, because I can tell you he is going to be in motion during that one.
Here's Williams at the front, and Curtis Williams drops down the 2.
And this is a young man who can be instant offense coming off the bench. Seen him have some big performances for the Cards as a freshman this season. Needs some experience, but he can absolutely help.
Those are Louisville's first bench points of the night. NC State's had 17 from their bench. Remember playing without Horn tonight. Taylor thought about it, steps to the left, and guns for 3. And Middlebrooks will catch another foul. That'll be his second, 4 on NC State.
Williams getting to the mid-range, a little bit of separation to step back, but you see with his size, has the ability to shoot over top of most defenders. Nice touch to make it a 5-point game. Now the Cards with an opportunity after the zone defensively, Coach.
Now the Cards need to make a couple of offensive plays. They need to get back in it right now. Burns is still out. Let's get a couple of buckets, get into this game.
Here is James on the turn.
Everything but the basket.
Last possession defensively was zone for the Cards. Now let's see if they are able to get back into it. Looks like they're going to stay man.
Breon Pass has come back out on the floor during that exchange a moment ago. Middlebrooks with James. Double team help from Payne, and a Louisville foul is called, and it's going to be on Zan Payne. So he'll draw the foul. 5-point lead for NC State. When we come back, the Hoops notables from the DMV as the ACC tournament presented by T. Rowe Price rolls on.
A lot.
Well, when we're here in Washington, we've told you, you got ACC all-time greats, Corey, littered throughout the DMV in Washington, don't you?
Well, our graphic is wrong. Let's start. J.J. Redick is from Roanoke, Virginia. He's not from the DMV.
All
the
right.
DMV is not just the whole state of Virginia. However, these guys are Grant Hill, South Lakes High School, right around the corner. Of course, Johnny Dawkins, the guy that made me watch Duke basketball, and Walt Williams and Len Bias, 2 greats from a school that I no longer acknowledge ever existed
Oh, my God.
in the ACC.
I can't believe you just put them in there.
What's the negativity there?
They're not with us.
I understand. Okay.
They're not with us. The great Len Bias.
Yeah, no question.
As well as my man Walt the Wiz Williams.
Yep.
They're not here with us, but they were with us, so you can't just write them out of history now.
I can.
Hey, like Boeheim's with us now, but he wasn't with us up until like 2013.
That's okay. He's with us now.
Okay.
So I can talk about him.
I got you. Middlebrooks hits them both, by the way. Lead is 7 for the Wolfpack. I would note that Bob Lewis, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago when R.J. Davis was attacking Carolina's single-game scoring record against Miami in Chapel Hill. Bob Lewis from Washington, 49 in 1965 against Florida State. That was not a conference game for those of you just joining.
And no three-point line for those 49 either, WD.
And Curtis Williams finds a three-point line.
Why do you say 1965 like you couldn't score back then? I played back then. We had guys get 40.
That's exactly why we said it.
Bing got 46. So, and I took the ball out of bounds every time and gave it to him.
So Casey Morcell, who also went to St. John's College
There you go.
High School here in D.C., knocking down the 3 ball from the corner.
He's got 16, by the way, and he was late to the party in terms of the scoring.
Yeah, but he's got 25 people in attendance watching, and he better show up in this game.
Huntley Hatfield against Middlebrooks, 10 to shoot, 7-point game. Brandon trying to squeeze the trigger and does. 6.5, 17 in the game. Huntley Hatfield's 17th double-figure game against the league here tonight.
And he stayed with that one. Earlier in the year he was, and now he's finishing some of those plays. He's improved this year.
Zone again defensively, Coach. Kenny Payne mixing it up. He must know you're here watching.
Middlebrooks. He and Huntley Hatfield starting to square off. Thought they might whistle him for a walk. It got deflected. It'll go out of bounds. Last touch by NC State.
Well, they didn't call the walk, so then they didn't call the foul, which that's all right, right?
I'm going to trust you on all this because you're the one that had to sit over there for so long.
Well, that's what just happened down there.
All right. Halfway home, 5-point lead. Winner gets Syracuse tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. In the third of the 4 second-round games on a Wednesday here in D.C. Clark off a high screen from Huntley Hatfield. It's been a quiet second half for Scott. Against pass, draws the foul, and he'll get a couple of free throws. That's 3 on pass.
Okay, Coach, I need you to break this down for me. You've seen a lot of basketball, watch more basketball than anyone I know. I need for you to tell me, what is this celebration right here?
I don't know why anybody that's got the recent history of these guys is celebrating.
Oh my goodness.
Anything except, I guess, being here. I mean, that's it. That's all I can see.
Ernest Ross signaling.
Coach, those are the 3 goggles, Coach.
I know what they are. But let's not celebrate until we win a game or
21 for Clark.
So, Coach, when someone on your team, you're coaching, and Carmelo Anthony makes a big 3 in the corner, and one of his teammates puts on the 3 goggles, is it okay? Or
it's okay because we probably won 8 or 9 games in a row.
Okay, that's fair. All right, that's fair.
It's celebration when you're down 20, like some of those guys do in football games or whatever. You know, celebrate that.
Okay.
Wait until you win.
That's fair.
22 for Clark, 4 in this second half. So DJ Burns has come back in the ball game. Time for our Bojangles Big Bow moment of tonight's game. Look at DJ Burns going to work here, Corey.
He absolutely has. He started out the game attacking the basket, then back to the second half. The same action for Kevin Keats. But Burns in foul trouble, hasn't been able to stay on the floor. And now he's on the inside trying to attack this zone.
Look at Burns high off the window, and last touch by O'Connell trying to save it.
And this zone has helped Kenny Payne and the Louisville defensively. They've thrown a little bit of a hesitation in North Carolina State offense.
Yeah, sometimes it catches you off guard, and you have 2 or 3 bad possessions, and that can help you, get back in it and get a couple stops.
Wolfpack by 3. Huntley Hatfield well out against Burns. His spot at 16.
I don't like to settle. However, that's really where you need to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Double dribble on Taylor. I think Jaden might have exchanged hands here. And Kevin Keats
WD, I can
sees that one go by the boards
vividly.
The official was right on the call, so, I mean,
I'll go right back to it with Huntley Hatfield. I'm not sure why he gives the basketball up. Force DJ Burns to have to guard him.
Trey White. 4th field goal, 9 points. Louisville to within 1. We go inside of 9 minutes to play now.
And you have to like Louisville fighting back like this after they gave up the lead, get down 6 or 8, and then they're fighting back. That's pretty good.
Woods. Here's Burns now. O'Connell. Back for DJ Burns and a foul.
You really can't stop him down there when he gets down in there. He's a really unique offensive player. And, you just wonder why over his time he hasn't been able to get himself to where he can play longer minutes and with more energy.
But especially when you switch defensively and you put a smaller guy having to contend with DJ Burns down there in the paint.
6 for Burns, by the way, 8 in the ball game.
It really doesn't matter. When a big guy plays him, he just uses his moves and step throughs and gets the guy up in the air. I mean, he's just a unique player down there. I mean, he's got a great low post game, and he really reminds me of Zach Randolph. I had Zach Randolph when he was coming out of high school. Same build, same kind of body and moves. Zach got himself down into better shape, though, and was able to go better.
Zach Randolph, Hakeem Olajuwon, that's not bad comparisons. In terms of your footwork and your movement at the post.
Yeah. He's got all the moves. He's very good there.
3-point lead for the Wolfpack. Both these teams trying to play for another day. Huntley Hatfield, O'Connell reached in, almost swiped it. Jeff Walls, the Louisville women's coach, sitting down here to our left, flawlessly handled that ball when it got knocked. There's Coach Walls.
No mistake, no error, no turnover.
He handled it great.
Nah, I've only been impressed if he shot it. But WD, you mentioned Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you start thinking NC State and Hakeem Olajuwon? No H?
Yeah. Albuquerque in 83.
There you go. With my guy Derek Wittenberg, who was not on the graphic, although he is a DMV legend from DeMatha High School. to this day still says it was a pass. It was not. It was a shot.
It's a good call. It's a good try from Witt, though.
Oh, yeah, great try from Witt.
No one believes that. not his closest relative. His mother does not believe that.
So Cam Woods is going to go to the line. He is just 3 for 4 on the year on the 10th foul against the Cardinals. You see DJ Horn on the bench. He has not played today. It's a hip flexor, we're being told. And came out, did go through some degree of the warm-up. But the Wolfpack's leading scorer not available. Now, they're up 3 with 8 to go. Should the Wolfpack win, be interesting to see if he'd be available for their lineup tomorrow.
I mean, it happens, but it always puzzles me as a coach when a guy can't go today but goes tomorrow. I mean, you know, that's pretty.
Well, I think he's in a position to where it's day-to-day, because we saw him warming up yesterday. We watched him warm up earlier today, and we actually wondered whether he would play or not. But more importantly, he was able to go into halftime and put his ice on, though.
Yeah, maybe he will. I mean, they've played really well without him. They've kind of, O'Connell's picked it up a little bit. So that's what you do when you lose a key guy. Other guys have to step up, and you can do that over one game. It's hard to do it every game.
Here's Middlebrooks fighting through, blocked by Huntley Hatfield. Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Wolfpack. 7:32 to go. NC State and a 3-point lead. Quentin Post and Boston College arriving at Capital One Arena. They'll see Miami in the final of our 3 first-round games next. Well, we open this ACC tournament with some heavy hearts. On Saturday night, Erwin Smallwood passed away in Greensboro at the age of 98. He was, for many, many decades, affiliated with the Greensboro News and Record. And he was most noted for being in the room at Sedgefield Country Club in 1953 when the ACC was founded. As a student at North Carolina, he wrote for the Daily Tar Heel and befriended Everett Case in watching NC State play in the old Southern Conference at Thompson Gym. He was a legend. He was a luminary. He was a trusted friend and mentor to so many who have covered this event for so many years, and he'll be sorely missed at 98, but he leaves us with some incredible memories.
And DJ Burns just goes right to the basket.
Yep. 5-point lead for the Wolfpack out of the timeout. Ahead of 7 to play here in Washington on day 1 of this ACC tournament, presented by T. Rowe Price and Taylor, the rebound of the Huntley Hatfield miss. Feels like we're in a danger zone, so to speak, with the Cards, Corey.
We are in a danger zone right now for the Cards. I'm also in a danger zone, WD, because we put that graphic out with so many different DMV guys, and you know I'm one of the voices of the ACC.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how many guys are hitting me up right now because they're not on the graphic?
Sky Clark on the steal and the layup. 6.5 for Clark, 24 in the game. Louisville to within 3.
Let me start out with some guys who I'm getting in trouble with. One, my brother, the greatest ACC tournament of all time, Randolph Childress, as Casey Morcell's fouled on the 3, was not on the graphic. He is from Clinton, Maryland.
Yes, he is.
He is in the DMV.
Right.
But even worse.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's worse than that?
Worse than
it
that?
gets worse than that.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Come on. Tell me it doesn't.
The great Dennis Scott, 3D, Flint Hill Prep.
Oh, my God.
Just texts me and says, no love? WD, that's your fault.
No, it's not.
Georgia Tech, you a Georgia Tech guy. That should never happen. You approved that graphic beforehand.
Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on now. Don't drag me into your trash.
3D, my apologies. And okay, let's start with this.
Okay.
NC State, 1991, ACC Player of the Year. That's right. Call him Ice. Rodney Monroe.
Rodney Monroe texted you?
No, I didn't hear from Rodney yet.
Good.
But Rodney's Hagerstown, so I'm not quite certain.
No, that is not the DMV.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But I think he's from the DMV and moved to Hagerstown.
Yeah, that might be.
Okay.
Oh, the list goes on and on and on. But I just want my producer Kim Belton, and our director
the
Griff.
former Bayham recruit Kim Belton?
Yes, the one that turned Bayham down. Now he got me in trouble, but it's okay.
Are we going to go through my whole list of people?
No.
I coached 47 years. There's about 1,000 of them I lost. Come on. You only got to get 1 out of 10, you know.
Morcell hits all 3 free throws. He's got 9.5 and 19 now in the ball game. Casey Morcell. And the Wolfpack lead is 6. Tyler Johnson, the freshman from Brooklyn. And almost threw it away. Clark with a heck of a catch. Against Breon pass. Sky, to the cutting White.
Great cut by White to get to the open spot, not standing on the three-point line. And Scott Clark has done it all for the Cards here today and gotten them back to within 4.
11 double-figure games on the year for Trey White against the ACC. 4-point game, under 6 to go.
None bigger than the Clemson 29-14, though. He put up West Unseld numbers in that game, WD.
Here's Morcell at 3. Johnson the rebound. Tyler front court.
Great job by Tyler recognizing Breon pass, trying to sneak up and get that steal.
Skip for Clark. 3-ball.
It's the first 3 look he's got since the first 5 minutes of the game.
And with 27 points, 5 for 6 from beyond the arc, I have to say this is probably the best game that Scott Clark has played in a Louisville uniform.
This is one of the best games anybody's played in a uniform this year.
Here's a 1-point lead for State. Taylor in traffic, fouled on the play. That'll be 2 shots coming for the Wolfpack.
You know, Sky Clark's another guy you look at. Freshman year, coming all the hype and everything, had a very poor year. And now, next year, he's back.
4 on Huntley Hatfield with 5 minutes to play here, guys.
It just takes a year sometimes, maybe even 2, and we just don't give him that.
Don't forget our baseball game of the week features the number 7 team in the nation. Wake Forest visits Brian O'Connor at number 17 Virginia. You'll get the second game of their 3-game series Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Taylor the free throw. The lead is 3. Huntley Hatfield goes out.
And Caleb Glenn checking in.
Sizing down, huh?
Yeah, you got a much smaller lineup, which becomes a problem trying to keep Ben Middlebrooks off of the offensive glass. It's already been a problem. And now with this smaller lineup, how will Louisville take care of business?
They've got about 5 guards in there, don't they?
Taylor's got 10. Louisville trailing 3. Clark for the tie.
But that's always the great equalizer, Coach. If you're going to be small, then you got to shoot the ball. And Scott Clark gets a nice look from the top of the key, knocking down the 3.
Career high 30 now for Clark. We're tied at 75 and a timeout. Kevin Keats wants to talk about it here, Jim.
What a night that he's having.
Yep.
Holy man.
Scott Clark, 6 of 7 from 3. We're tied up in Washington.
When teamwork makes the dream work, and Scott Clark, who has been absolutely fabulous with the basketball throughout this day, he and White have worked so well together, and you see Scott Clark attacking the basket, but the cut by White allows him to be able to get the easy bucket. And when you're 11 of 14 from the field, 6 for 7 from beyond the 3, you're going to attract a lot of attention. Scott Clark sharing the sugar, WD, making his team look good.
And we're tied at 75 with 4.5 to go. Okay, you're Kenny Payne. What are you telling your team?
You know, they haven't been here enough, and that's what's, you know, they've got to find a way to get a couple stops, and it's going to be here. A double team on Burns, that's probably a good move.
Taylor at 3. There you go. How about that?
But Coach, that's what we talked about before. Do you go double team? No. Because when you double team, that opens up opportunities. Taylor's been shooting a hot basketball as of late.
And he's too good a passer. It's just, you know, it's just something you can't do.
But with Huntley Hatfield with the 4 fouls on the bench, it is a significant mismatch with DJ Burns in the post.
Clark all the way through, deflected away, scooped up White. 8 to shoot for Louisville. Skip for Johnson. All the way through, up off the glass. Tyler Johnson with 8.
Crafty play by Tyler, really just extending that step to get around the defender and get the easy layup.
1-point lead for State. Pass to Burns. Double team coming. That's Glenn and Johnson on the big man. Taylor launching again, and it rattles in. Back-to-back threes for State's Jaden Taylor.
And Kevin Keats is excited on the sideline watching DJ Burns handle the traps with perfection.
Johnson. Caught, squeezed the trigger, and O'Connell collects it in the corner. 3 minutes to go and a backcourt foul on Johnson.
Frustration foul.
Well, and you're going to get O'Connell to the free throw line, who's 84%. But, Coach, it's a 4-point game here.
Well, he thought he was going to get fouled, and he didn't, so he went after him.
Kevin Keats, and then the three goggles, Coach, from Ernest Ross. Back in a moment to D.C.
Save him.
71st ACC Men's Basketball Tournament. Part of Champ Week on ESPN is presented to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Vinny Del Negro won the Everett Case Award as the ACC Tournament's MVP in 1987.
One of the guys I had to get coffee my rookie year in the NBA. One of my vets.
If we're lucky, we'll get coffee for these guys after BC Miami's done tonight.
I'm not getting any of them coffee. Those guys are younger than me. I'll take that when it comes to those guys.
Let me tell you a little secret. We need to find out what Barry, Boozer, and Hancock shot yesterday at Congressional. They played the blue course yesterday at Congressional.
And it was cold.
And look, at the only one doing any work, by the way, happens to be Kelsey Riggs.
Yeah, Kelsey Riggs.
The other three guys over here dressed very nice, by the way. Y'all are sharp. But the only one doing any work over there is Kelsey.
She carries them, and when I'm not there, they really struggle. So, I mean, I don't know how they do it.
However, the ACC tournament is always the anniversary of when Kelsey forgot me, Wes. But back to West Durham
5 years ago.
Yes.
I can understand that.
O'Connell, by the way, puts State up 6 now with 3 minutes to go. Boston College Miami closed this first round later tonight. Here's James to White. Scott Clark's got 30. He's been terrific for Louisville. Huntley Hatfield playing with the 4 fouls. 8 to shoot for Williams. Skip for Clark and a 3-ball.
Unbelievable.
33 for Clark.
Have a night, man.
7-3.
To be honest, this was the Sky Clark that Louisville was supposed to get. His reputation is a shooter, a high-level scorer. And he has saved his best for what could be last. However, he's trying to keep it going.
Yep.
Well, he was the guy that high-level guy Louisville or the Illinois thought they had.
Missed 3 from Morcell.
Oh, you know what I'm doing right here, WD.
55.
Ooh.
Lost it on the dribble.
He took a tough hit from Taylor, too.
The turnover.
First big mistake he's made today.
15 of them now for Louisville today. 9 for the Wolfpack. First turnover in 11 minutes for the Ville. 3-point lead for State. Morcell and a reach in on Curtis Williams. Foul on Williams, his first. 2 free throws coming for the Wolfpack here.
And this is a game where Louisville just hasn't been able to win these games. They've kept it close in a number of games, but they just haven't been able to finish. And, you know, NC State's got some guys that have finished some games, so, you know, they have a little bit of an advantage here.
I take it back to November with Louisville, where Kenny Payne and his crew had Texas on the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
Mismanaged a couple plays, one at the end of the first half and one at the end of the game. That game, in my opinion, could have changed the trajectory of this season for the Cards.
Well, we're in the hallway at Capital One Arena, and you see BC is here with Earl Grant. They're next against Miami. The Eagles, by the way, 5-6 in the last 6 tournaments. Earl Grant, 2 years, got a winning record.
Yeah, and that warm-up routine they're doing right there, Coach Boeheim and I can actually do that one. We can't do the majority of this dynamic stretching that they do nowadays, but that one we could do, Coach.
You speak for yourself.
Here's Morcell for the second of 2 free throws. Casey, by the way, now has a career high against any ACC opponent. Corey?
Yeah, well, he actually had a career high 21 points against, I believe it was Florida State.
Yep.
You and I did that game, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, played well that night.
2 weeks ago.
And so Morcell, most points he's ever scored against an ACC opponent now. Free throw or jump shot from Williams, no good. And Casey the rebound for the Wolfpack. And the foul will be on Mike James. 85-80 with 79 seconds left, and Sky Clark has had a day, guys.
He absolutely has, and you look at his shot chart. 33 points, 12 of 15 from beyond the arc. Super efficient. Coach, you know what that percentage is? Don't worry about it, Syracuse. That's 80%.
About it, but it also isn't all behind the arc. That's his total field goal.
Yeah.
True that.
Jeez.
Hey,
True that.
Coach, Scott Clark is the 6th player to have 30 points and 6 made threes in an ACC tournament game over the last 25 years. He joins J.J. Redick, Tyrese Rice, Harrison Barnes, Olivier Hanlon, and Hunter Couture.
All great names.
Yep.
All great names. By the way, all my guys.
Well, I think that it would have been
All of them.
better the last 2 possessions if he'd have gotten another couple looks.
Well, down 7 now with 75 seconds left. Clark had it knocked away. Middlebrooks will scurry to scoop it up.
But that's been the issue for the Cards the entire season, and it's reared its ugly head here late in this game. When you look at the one thing that Scott Clark has struggled with throughout this game, he now has 6 turnovers and crucial ones here down the stretch, and just mishandling the basketball. Give Breon Pass a lot of credit for just sticking his hand in, coming up with the steal there, and now an opportunity for NC State to make this a 3-possession game.
O'Connell at the line on the day, 2 for 2, knocks that down. Now an 8-point game.
And you have to give NC State a huge amount of credit for being able to hang in there when Louisville played so well.
You see Milton Wagner on the bench, the last Louisville player in a conference tournament to have 30 or more was Milt Wagner, who had 31
Metro?
in 1986.
The
Scott
Metro?
Clark has broken Milt Wagner's mark today.
But was that the Metro Conference
It
tournament?
was in 86, yep. There goes Clark, missed the layup. White tried to follow first, and now the second time the charm. But it is 89-80 with 51 seconds left, and a timeout taken by Kenny Payne. And our dynamic play of the game is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. And even though they're down 7, it's Scott Clark here, Corey.
Yeah, he has been dynamic absolutely in this game. We talked about the numbers and the efficiency of Scott Clark, making big shot after big shot for the Cards throughout this game. May not be enough to keep his season alive, but he has definitely given his best effort here this evening.
Yep.
Both teams have played at a really high level, and you have to give them credit at this stage of the year to play like this.
The finality, Coach, sets in, though, when you get to this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the end of the year is so difficult for players and coaches, because you always think, no matter where you are, that you could have won this game, and now you got another chance to play.
Yep.
But it just got away from Louisville. But it's kind of been the way it's been for them. When they've played well, they've still not been able to close the game.
NC State's made 13 straight free throws to push the margin to 7. And there is a quick backcourt foul, and that's going to be on Glenn. And a NC State team that has been in the bonus and the double bonus, Corey, since 14 and a half minutes to go in the ball game.
Yeah, and you identified that when it happened, and you think about what an advantage it is for NC State to know that if you're strong with the basketball, you're going to have an opportunity to put 2 points on the board just by getting to the free throw line.
Right.
And they've taken advantage of those opportunities as well.
O'Connell at the line for a pair. And the first one good. And that'll make it 8 points with 50 seconds. Huntley Hatfield returns. He plays with 4. Syracuse, the 7 seed, awaits the winner of this tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Orange beat the Wolfpack twice. They beat them at the Dome and then lost in Raleigh to Adrian Autry's team. By the way, snaps the streak at 14 in a row after O'Connell missed the back end. White the scoop. O'Connell the rebound with 35 seconds left. And a pitch ahead. Here is Taylor and the layup. Well, in the final half minute, the lead is 10 at 92-82, and here's Clark, who's working on a career high in a record-setting tournament night for Louisville. And there'll be a foul on Middlebrooks. And Corey, 16.5 seconds left to go in the ball game, and for the Cardinals, this will bring a close to the season, and immediately discussions will begin about the future of Kenny Payne.
They absolutely will, and again, everyone will have their own opinion. I personally don't believe that Kenny Payne has really been given much of a chance, considering the program that he took over. Louisville wasn't just in bad shape, it was broken. And I believe it was going to take more than 2 years to try to get this program back to where it would be. I personally would love to see Kenny Payne get a longer opportunity. I don't know that will happen.
Jim, it's a production business. We all know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Louisville's got such a history of winning, and, if they'd have been a little bit better and showed a little bit more movement, played like this more often this year, I think that there would have been a really good chance for him to get another year. At the way the season's gone, I think it's going to be a tough call, and it's just you got to win at Louisville. You can't, and if you're not winning, you got to be really close to winning. And as Corey said, if they had just made improvement and gotten a little bit better this year, I think that he should be given another year.
He took the job under adverse circumstances, and he was the unanimous. That was the guy. This was the guy everybody wanted to be the next basketball coach at Louisville, which I think makes this a little tougher too.
Because he's one of their own.
Right.
Kenny Payne was celebrated for coming back to school after his illustrious career playing professional basketball and getting his degree. He was always the guy that they wanted. I personally think they hired him at the wrong time. I felt as though they should have went one more year, allowed Mike McGee to be the coach, find out what was going to happen with the NCAA investigation, which handicapped Kenny Payne coming in because that was looming over. And, Coach, I know you never did this, but oftentimes people negatively recruit against you, and it was hard for them to get guys in there.
No, they absolutely do. And Kenny was a great recruiter, was in great programs, but it's your first time coaching. And, you just don't know how that's going to go. And sometimes you can learn on the job, but at a place like Louisville, that's hard to do.
The other thing about the Cards program, guys, it is like pro sports in a town. I mean, it is the show place and the showcase. They've got a beautiful arena. They've got an ardent and passionate fan base who rallies to the program, Corey. And Louisville now, Josh Hurd and the athletic leadership, they got to get it right.
Syracuse alum Jim Boeheim will be the first to tell you have to be very careful with how you treat your own because the recruits are watching.
Yeah. Cards will put it in play here with 16.6 to go. Clark out of the corner, fouled on the play by Middlebrooks. And Scott Clark's going to get 3 free throws, and Ben Middlebrooks is going to get a soft jog down to Kevin Keats for a one-way discussion here, Coach.
The game is over. Let's just get it over. That's what the discussion is going.
Is that what it is?
Right there. Let's just get it over. And that's when you want to get on a player because you are going to win the game. If it was a 5-point game and you do something like that, then you might not win the game.
Second of the three. Boy, what a night for Clark, huh?
Not many better games than this.
35. I mean, he's been rolling since the opener.
He absolutely has. He started out strong, finishing strong.
Yep. Third of the three, completely clean. The lead 7 with 13.5 to go. Jaden Taylor out of a double team, and Kevin Keats took a timeout, and he wants to wave everybody in. So Breon Pass will get a little instruction. This is full Kevin Keats coaching points right here.
Well, Kevin Keats is looking at his high school quarterback, the football player, saying, hey, can you please take the ball out of bounds? Because he's the guy that he trusts to be able to throw it in. And, of course, if there needs to be a long pass to be made, he knows Breon Pass is capable.
All right, so let's move ahead a little bit. We're going to see BC Miami later tonight. BC, by the way, third meeting between those two schools in 25 days, Jim.
Yeah. and BC's Miami's had just so many injuries, so many setbacks, and Post is a difficult guy for them to play against inside, and Boston College is going to have a lot of confidence coming into that game.
We got a heck of a game tonight in the Post. Not Quentin Post with Norchad O'Meara and Quentin Post.
Yeah. Size versus strength.
Yep. Inbounds to Morcell. There's the Cards double team and a foul called. Mark Schnurr, who's worked with Jerry Heater and Lee Cassell tonight, tickets Trey White for his fourth.
WD, you think about this?
What's that?
Our guy hasn't said anything negative about the officials the entire game.
Now, the officials are good in this league. I've always said that. I don't agree with some of their calls, but these guys are good officials. We have a great chief of officials and Brian Kersey in this league.
Yeah.
And, but you're going to miss calls, and, coaches are going to say something about them. That's what we're over there for.
Yeah. Coach Boeheim, I don't even know who you are right now.
I don't either. There's Lee Cassell, by the way.
I think this game was very well refereed tonight.
Agreed.
There's a call here or there, but when that's all there is, a call here or there, that's a good night.
Morcell knocks down another free throw. Nice homecoming game for Casey Morcell, who's from Fort Washington, by the way.
Absolutely, which is in the DMV. Okay, correct. Fort Washington, right off the Beltway.
By the way, how's in the final 10 seconds here? How's our PR campaign going for our rehabilitation with some of your friends?
Well, I did get Chris Corciani on the line, and he made sure to reach out before I'd already said his partner, of course, Fire and Ice. I'd already said Rodney Moreau, but my man Corch had to make sure I got Rodney in there.
Yep. And Dennis Scott, I heard you. I'm with you tonight.
Hey, Dennis, that's all WD.
No,
he approved that graphic.
Did not, Dennis.
Rodney Monroe is from Hagerstown. I went there. That's another guy I went to go see.
Williams misses the three. NC State will move on to play the Orange, and Louisville's season comes to a close. Kevin Keats and Kenny Payne, a quick embrace. The Wolfpack goes to 18-14 with the victory. Louisville's campaign comes to a close at 8-24.
Well, this is a good win for NC State to lose Horn before the game, thinking he may be able to play and get off to such a bad start and then come back and win. So it's a good win.
Sky Clark, 36 in a losing cause for the Cards here, Corey.
Best game that we've seen from him in a Louisville uniform, and gives them a little bit of hope as to what could happen moving forward.
Well, the Orange wait the Wolfpack now tomorrow night in the fourth of the 4 second-round games. We've got Boston College, Miami still coming up. NC State gets 25 from Casey Morcell and 5 players in double figures. Gentlemen, enjoyed it. Catch a deep breath. We're coming back for BC Miami. Great to be with Kim Belton, Mike Griffin, and our coverage here at the ACC tournament. Kelsey Riggs and Nothing But Net now.
Wes, thanks. Send Jim Boeheim back over here because, like we heard, he does all the work. That's what the guys think anyway. Good stuff. Enjoyed the call with the 3 of you. Looking forward to the next one right here on ACC Network. Third game of the day, Boston College, Miami, coming your way in about 30 minutes. But right now, it's all about NC State, the 94-85 win. You heard the guys give a lot of love to Louisville and Sky Clark. 36 points, 7 of 9 from beyond the arc, but it wasn't enough as NC State gets the win. Casey Morcell, 25 points. Luke, Joel, and Booz hanging out with me now. And Booz, what was the difference maker for NC State?
I just think they stepped up in DJ Horn's absence. I thought Casey Morcell was outstanding, going 13 for 13 from the free throw line. Clutch free throws for him. Was very aggressive. And I want to give a shout out to Michael O'Connell. Great job, 3 big steals. As a team, they had 12 steals, which is fantastic. 36 points in the paint, 18 fast break points. Got a big win despite Sky Clark having a career-high night, 36 points.
Yeah, I thought the game was really decided, number one, at the free throw line. And you saw Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, when he came out of the game, Louisville was so undersized that they just didn't have the physicality to match NC State. It led to offensive rebounds. It led to free throws. They had 40 free throws in this game. And then the turnovers, man. You turn it over on 23% of your possessions, you're not going to win. I don't care if you do shoot almost 70% from the field. Louisville shot the basketball great. They just didn't take care of the rock.
And for NC State, as they created those steals and they were getting out on the break, attacking the basket, what does it allow? It allows free throws. One of the highest efficient shots you can get. They went 33 for 40 from the free throw line. But overall, NC State did a great job of just turning up the pressure in the first half, getting Louisville to be uncomfortable on the offensive end, and then that just trickled along throughout the game. I really thought that was the difference maker for NC State and getting it going for them. Joel
Berry II, Carlos Boozer, Luke Hancock, Kelsey Riggs hanging out with you, 3 national champs, and then there's me hosting the show. You guys, in NC State, you mentioned they caused a lot of turnovers and wreaked havoc for this Louisville team. But what did you like about the fight from Louisville? Because they were down, they come back in it and make it a game really right through the end.
Yeah, at parts of this season, when they face adversity, you get the big lead early and the other team starts to come back, they've folded up at times, but they really weathered the storm, took the lead back when NC State kind of looked like they had control of the game. And Sky Clark, you feel for a kid like that in this kind of game where it's win and go home. Yep. They've had a rough season, but man, he laid it all on the line, played fantastic, shot the ball great, did everything he could, just the execution factor again, turning the basketball over and not quite having the personnel to keep them off the free throw line.
Go ahead.
That's what I thought it was, is the execution down the stretch. You have to be able to go from losing to winning, and that difference, you have to be able to execute down the stretch, and they just didn't have that.
He's the 4th player in the last 25 years with 30 points and 7 threes, Booze. He was lighting it up from the outside.
Now, I'm really impressed with this kid, man. I mean, very talented, came out here to prove a point that he can compete at this level. And, Joe, to your point, it is a thin line between winning and losing in the ACC. Like, they're a couple possessions away from advancing to the next round. I thought he gave them he literally was like, guys, get on my back. I'm going to knock down these shots and take it as far as I could go. And they were right there at the end of the game. But NC State executed better. They made their free throws. They took care of the basketball, and they got the opportunities. They capitalized on it. But Sky Clark, hell of a night for him, man.
He played really well, but so did Joel Casey Morsell. What was he able to do in the second half that really Louisville wasn't able to stop?
Sometimes just being aggressive as a player and getting to the basket, getting yourself going is the key. And Casey Morsell did that tonight. Look, but not having DJ Horn in the lineup, you have to have someone else step up. And Casey Morsell did that for his team. This is a veteran guard who knows how to get it done, but just being aggressive, taking those shots that your team needs you to take, that was the difference maker for Casey Morsell in this game, and they needed it from him.
Yeah, I thought him and O'Connell having to share the primary point guard duties with DJ Horn not being there. They both did great, having only 2 turnovers, and that was really the key. You're steady with the basketball. You force the other team to have to reach and pick up those fouls and play it off at 2 feet when you get in the paint. They were just very steady, and that's what you want from veteran guards in a game like this.
So great stuff from Casey Morsell. We are looking forward to hearing from him right here joining our set in a little while. MJ also did a great job, but this is a 94-85 victory for NC State on the other side of things. We touched a little bit, Joel, on Louisville with Sky Clark and how outstanding he was, and that we like the fight of this team, but this is where their season comes to an end, finished with just 8 wins in the regular season, and they have struggled over the last 2 years, really struggled a little bit more than that before they made this coaching change, tried to get back on track and hasn't worked so far. What do they need to do in the future to get this program back to where it wants to be?
Yeah, I think you just go back to the drawing board and see what the future looks like and what direction you want to go as a program. And obviously they'll go and sit down with Coach Payne and see what that looks like. But, it's devastating because obviously you don't want this season to be the way that it was or the last 2 seasons. But I think just moving forward, they have to sit down and see where they want to go. We don't have the answers, but I think they have to be able to do some planning to see what the future looks like.
The good news is they've got pieces to the puzzle. I mean, you look at, these are young guys. I mean, if you start with Sky Clark and what he just did out there, I'm excited. But I think in today's day and age, you've got the portal. The teams can revamp and totally flip rosters really quick, so you don't have to sit there and have losing seasons back to back to back and try and build it for a long period of time. The transfer portal can give you basically a new roster with the snap of your fingers. So I think they need some energy in the program. I think they need a mental refresh and kind of flip the script. But there are pieces to the puzzle that I really like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you build around Scott Clark. That's what kind of style of basketball do you want to play at Louisville? Louisville is a phenomenal place to play basketball. If I'm a kid in the portal or in another conference that wants to play high Division I basketball, I'm reaching out because I would love to be a part of a Louisville rebuild situation. Yeah. So I think it's a great location. I think it's a great team. Inside their organization, they have to figure out what kind of style of basketball they want to play, and I would build around Scott Clark. This kid's a baller.
He's not the only one, though. Like Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, a former really high 4-star recruit. And you talked about Louisville is a place where kids are going to want to go.
Yes.
You got a great arena. There's no proteins around. The Yum Bucket, man. You got having no proteins around. You're the show. Yeah. And so that's really good when you're winning. Yeah. And it's really tough when you're losing. But there's a lot to offer there. You know, my heart breaks for the program having a really rough season. But, Louisville's going to be back. Hopefully a turning point this offseason.
Such a passionate fan base for sure. Looking forward to seeing more really good basketball in the Yum Center, Booth's favorite place that we have ever been. We got a lot more to talk about on the other side of this break. We got one of the stars of the game, Casey Morsell, standing by 25 points in the win. We'll get his thoughts after this. But right now we got the star of the second game with us, Casey Morsell, coming off a 25-point game in the win over Louisville. First of all, congratulations. I know it always feels good to win. It probably feels even better to win when you got a lot of family here watching you. You're from the area. What was that like for you, playing in this arena so close to home?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Like you said, having a lot of fam come and watch me play. I've never played on this court, but I've always been on it a lot. Watching guys like Gilbert Arenas, John Wall, different superstars that come through. So just to have the opportunity to play on this court in front of the fam, it means the world.
Late in the season, Kevin Keats said, we need Casey Morsell to play better. He can play better. You delivered tonight. What does it mean to have Coach put that confidence in you? What's he say to get you going?
Yeah, man. It's really just me just locking in on the offensive end. I take a lot of value in locking down his down. And, literally today, with DJ Horn out, that's why I needed to step up at. It's to scoring, and that definitely got the guys going as well.
Yeah, talk about that with DJ Horn being out, one of you guys really good scorers. You've been a really good scorer too. You also locked in on the other end. What was your mindset going into this game and going on for the rest of the tournament?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. I think we're going to have to be more complete on the offensive end. It's going to have to come from everyone. We're going to have to be more balanced, more versatile. But, I think for us, our identity is our defense. That's really what's got to improve. Giving up 84 to Louisville, it's going to get tougher as the tournament goes on. And if we can lock in on the defensive end, the offense will take care of itself.
Well, when you look at the team, how important is it to have guys like Jaden Taylor stepping up, Michael O'Connell, Ben Middlebrooks coming off the bench? How important is that moving forward?
It's huge. Like you said, with Horn going out, everyone's kind of in a position where they need to step up and do more. So, that's pretty much what we did today. Different guys came in, had different impacts on the game, and we just got to keep that up to get that momentum to win in this tournament.
Yeah. I hope you get a chance to celebrate this because you played so well, but
appreciate it.
Duty's going to call real quick with Syracuse. First thoughts on those?
Yeah, they got us 2 times, and one of the biggest things that, I've learned is pretty much our first half. We got to come out and, throw the first punch against them because, going down in the first half against them is always tough to come back. So that's been the biggest thing that I think we've the biggest thing that we have going into the second game is not going down, and, I think we'll be in good shape.
Last time you guys played, it was just a 4-point game, so that was definitely a close one. What's important for you playing on day one and looking to make a run in the tournament? These guys all said if they had to pick one team that could make a run from day one, it was you guys.
I like that. That's a dark horse.
Absolutely.
But no, I think, it's so much parity in the league. Like, everything is, there isn't, one team that's hand and shoulders down better than everyone. Pretty much it's just us not beating ourselves and playing our game. We're going to score the ball well. We're going to, try to defend at a high level, but that's pretty much where it starts, defending and finishing possessions, and I think we could be anyone.
With a quick turnaround, you probably got about, 5 more minutes to celebrate, and then you get ready for Syracuse. Casey, thank you for the time, and congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Joel Berry, we know why you like it here now. Meanwhile, Louisville, NC State going head-to-head. We'll see who from this game would like it. Wouldn't be DJ Horn having to sit out of this game with an injury. But Casey Morsell was in, and he was hot.
Yeah, he stepped up huge in DJ Horn's absence. I love his mindset of, I have to be in attack mode this entire game. 13 for 13 from the free throw line definitely helped.
Speaking of attack mode, Sky Clark skies high and gets that one boost.
He was literally putting Louisville on his back, making shot after shot, gave them a chance.
Long distance shot is good. Ties the game at 75. He finished with 36 points. Jaden Taylor stepped up big, though, Joel, for NC State as well.
He did step up. This was a guy that also likes DC. Him and Casey Morsell really stepped up for this team tonight and played big.
18 points, 8 rebounds. NC State takes the lead, and they hang on to it from there. They go on to win 94-85 the final, and we had Casey Morsell after his 25 points join us on set. Talk about how he stepped up without DJ Horn today.
It's really just me just locking in on the offensive end. I take a lot of value in locking guys down, and really today, with DJ Horn out, it was that's why I needed to step up at is to scoring, and that definitely got the guys going as well.
Last time you guys played, it was just a 4-point game, so that was definitely a close one. What's important for you playing on day one and looking to make a run in the tournament? These guys all said if they had to pick one team that could make a run from day one, it was you guys.
I like that. That's a dark horse.
Absolutely.
But no, I think, it's so much parity in the league. Like, everything is, there isn't, one team that's hand and shoulders down better than everyone. Pretty much it's just us not beating ourselves and playing our game. We're going to score the ball well. We're going to, try to defend at a high level, but that's pretty much where it starts, defending and finishing possessions, and I think we could be anyone.
Next up for them that they'll have to beat if they want to continue to advance is Syracuse, 7 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN2. But guys, to not have DJ Hornboos in this lineup and to see some of the pieces step up in the way they did, what does that tell you about this NC State team?
Well, it was huge. They got down big early, guys, in this game. Louisville came out cooking. Obviously, we saw Sky Clark. Shout out to him with a hell of a night tonight. But then their defense picked up. They had 12 steals. They had 5 blocks. They were scoring in transition. They had points in 36 points in the paint. Their defense sparked their offense. And so if they can play like that, like he talked about, if they play defense, they get stops, they get rebounds, they get out in transition, they get steals, they do have a chance against anybody. Syracuse got really good guards, they got good bigs, they do a good job playing together. So it'll be a tough test tomorrow night, but if they play that way, they'll have a chance.
Did all the little things in this game. 22 points off turnovers, 9 points second chance points. So that's 31 right there of things that you can control if you're the other team, if you're Louisville. So NC State, I agree with you. Their defense was there. They got in the press. It really disrupted Louisville. Everybody except Sky Clark. They have to be ready to go right from the jump because they can't slow walk the beginning the way they did against Louisville and work their way back. That defense has to be ready to go right from the jump.
You guys both mentioned Sky Clark for Louisville, who was outstanding, 4th player in the last 25 years with 30 points and 7 threes in an ACC tournament. How did he get so hot in this game?
Well, he came out and just got into a really good rhythm. It got to a point when you start seeing a guy wiggle with the ball like he did in the beginning of the game, that's when you know he's hot. But he was just – some of his shots were really tough, but majority of the shots were just in rhythm, and they were able to move the ball early. And that's what I said. You hit a couple, you start wiggling with it. I thought it was just a complete game and probably his best game since he's been in the Louisville jersey.
36 points, a career high for him in points and threes. But the reality is, still ends what has been a tough season for Louisville and a tough tenure so far for Kenny Payne in his 2 years there. You take a look at what they have done in just those 2 years, 12 wins in the last 2 seasons across Division I. They've got the 7th worst win percentage, and this is a team that has been struggling to find their way, had glimpses of hope throughout the season, but could never really put it together. Kenny Payne talked after the game about everything that's gone wrong for Louisville over the last 2 seasons.
When I walked into the program as the new head coach, I talked about I needed everybody on the same page. We sort of forgot that. I talked about how I'm not going to let you blame me. I'm not standing up here by myself. I need all of Louisville with me. We sort of forgot that. I talked about it's going to take time. and I'm going to watch and see who jumped on and off the Titanic. We sort of forgot that. I gave a specific time. I said 3 or 4 years, and I'm good with it. That's what I believed at that time, and that's what I still believe it takes to fix this program. And like I said, with guys like this, you have a foundation. Brandon Hatfield, Mike James, J.J. Traynor, the young guys that we have a foundation. Whether I'm the coach or not, I can look in the mirror and say I gave it everything I had.
All right, so that was Kenny Payne just a short while ago addressing some of the problems that Louisville has had. I think we all agree with one thing that he said in particular, the foundation that they have. We talked a lot about some of those young pieces. But, Luke, as a guy who played there, a guy that knows that fan base, a guy that cares a whole lot about Louisville and Louisville basketball, as you look ahead to the future for Louisville and just what they need to get back to winning, what's important for this program to be in a different spot in a couple years from now?
You know, year one, KP didn't recruit very many of those players. They're coming off of a period where the NCAA has penalized them, and you kind of want to give KP the benefit of the doubt. In year two, you expected a big jump, and I think fans are frustrated because you didn't see a big jump. Now, you can listen to KP there and talk about all the foundational pieces and the young players that are on this team, but I think the bottom line is Louisville is a tradition-rich program, one of the best in the entire country, and in the last 2 years to be 12-52, there are not many fans who are going to stay on the Titanic for that. And so I'm glad it's not my decision about what happens moving forward. I think KP has done a good job of trying to keep this team together because it's got to be frustrating in that locker room. And he has said plenty of times, if you add 2 or 3 pieces to this puzzle, what if? What could happen? Trenton Flowers was one of those guys as a big-time recruit that ended up leaving before season started and went to Australia. Where would they be with a guy like that? You know, you keep trying to make this case that things are going to be okay, but I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. I don't know if he's done enough, but if it is a 3 or 4 year process for KP, I think he's going to have a tough time getting Louisville fans back on board. I hope that they do. I know the Yum Center used to be rocking when we were in there, 22,000 people losing their minds. I want these kids to feel that. I want guys like J.J. Traynor, who are Louisville guys, to feel what this is all about when things are really rocking, because there is no better place to play than Louisville when things are going great. Well, I know I'm a little biased when I say that.
No, Booz loves the Yum Center. So, I mean, well said there, Luke. It is a tough season for them. They end things on a season-long 8-game losing streak into the road for them. NC State advances and will play Syracuse tomorrow. Well, right now, let's take a look at another one of the matchups we're going to see tomorrow, and that's NC State and Syracuse. That's the 7 o'clock game on ESPN2. And we saw these two teams play twice this season. Syracuse swept both games, winning 77-65 and 87-83, just a 4-point game when they played back on February 20th. We heard you two going back and forth about it earlier, those results. Joel, you want to give us some predictions this time around?
Yes, I will say that this is going to be a very high-level game. I'm gonna go with the Qs in this game because I like the backcourt of Judah Mintz and J.J. Starling. But I also like Quadir Copeland. He's a guy that can make a difference maker. Like when he's on, this team is a lot different because you have one of those guys that come out and he just plays with a ton of confidence, and that permeates throughout the whole team. So I like this Q's team because of their backcourt and what they can do when those two guys and J.J. Starling and Judah Mintz have it going.
Well, when they play at a high level, they can beat anybody in this league, and they proved that with North Carolina. But the 2 wins against NC State, they played 2 of their better games. You know, Chris Bell shot the lights out in one game, but I think they're playing at a good level, and I think they know they have to win. And I think they will win. I think they're playing at a very good pace right now. Quadir Copeland, I thought he should have been the 6th man of the year because he affected games big when he played well. 25, 26, 27 points in his big games. I think you got to also look at, Horn being at the best. He's going to be, if he tries to come and play, he hasn't been playing. That's always hard to do. I thought NC State played really, really well today to come back because Louisville played a great game. And, So for them to come back like that, I showed a lot of character.
Luke, what's the impact if DJ Horn is limited or can't go again when you're seeing a team that you've already lost to twice this season?
I think it's huge for NC State. I mean, they were able to force Louisville to turn it over 23% of their possessions. Louisville shot it at a great clip, but they're not going to do that to Judah Mintz. They're not going to press Judah the way that they did Louisville. They're going to throw it into Judah. Everybody's going to get out of the way, and he's going to beat the press. And so I just think the guard play with Syracuse going up against NC State, the fact that those guards had to score a ton of points tonight for them to win the game, it's going to be much tougher to do against Syracuse. And without having your flamethrower in DJ Horn, the guy that can get buckets from anywhere, and when your offense is stagnant, he goes and makes that play with that high flat ball screen. I think it's going to be really tough for them to win against Syracuse without him.
Yeah, I think they need DJ Horn to win that game. I think Judah Mintz is going to be the best player on the floor tomorrow, and I think Syracuse wins that game. If DJ Horn plays and he plays close to 100%, that changes the dynamic. But without seeing them today, I think Judah Mintz just rocks the court tomorrow night.
We did see him warm up, but
And we'll see if he's able to do more than warm up tomorrow, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. But meanwhile, while we talk NC State, it is the 50th anniversary of a very special date for the Wolfpack. It's been 50 years since the 1974 ACC and national title team. Let's take a look back at the greatest game in ACC history.
It's unbelievable that we are all able to get together. We're all like brothers to each other. We grew up together, so to speak. I'm just proud to be a part of that team.
They have done it. The Wolfpack has won the national championship.
We were 57-1 over a 2-year period. Won the first national championship in North Carolina State, and will go down in history as one of the greatest college basketball teams ever.
Number 44 from Shelby, North Carolina,
We'd gone undefeated in the ACC, and still we had to win the Maryland game just to get out of ACC tournament play and into the NCAA tournament.
There was a lot of pressure on that game. You know, only one team could represent the conference, and Maryland was probably playing the best basketball of the season.
They were ranked number 1 in the country. We were ranked number 4 by most polls, and here we are recognizing that one of the 4 best teams in the nation was not going to go to the NCAA tournament.
That game changed the whole outlook of the NCAA. ACC was the only team that sent their tournament winner. Everybody else sent their conference winner. Only 25 teams were in the NCAA tournament.
Both teams have played phenomenal basketball and are hungry for this biggest of all triumphs.
In that championship game, they opted not to double and leave Tommy one-on-one against Elmore.
I had nobody but Elmore to guard me, so it was either, back step, drop. I have like a 5.5-foot drop step. That will move you. He couldn't stop me. I mean, he's right there on my hook shot. I mean, he's not going to get up and get it.
As many good games as I saw David Thompson play, I don't know that I ever saw a better individual performance than that 38-point game from Tommy Burleson that night.
The greatest thing you can say about this team is we gave ourselves the opportunity, and when we got the opportunity, we delivered.
It's all over. The most exciting basketball contest ever played in the ACC.
You have a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids together. All those guys would be linked for life. We can not be around each other for years and come back together. And it's just like back in 1974. I love those guys.